everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It is officially that time of the month where we do predictions on this channel. And I gotta say, I'm pretty stoked about this one, not only because we have this major pay-per-view with AEW All Out 2022, but also I have two very special guests that are also going to be at All Out. So this is kind of like us getting the week started and getting to talk about some cool wrestling stuff. So let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my guests. You guys know them from Fightful Wrestling, where they host Grapsody each and every single week. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Washington and Phil Lindsey. What's up, guys?
We are totally unfamiliar with each other. This is the first time we've spoken today. I don't know what you're talking about, Denise Salcedo.
You know, oh, sorry.
Never heard of this Will Washington guy. I think he's like some kind of Whitney Houston fan.
Whitney Houston,
I wore the shirt. Are you kidding?
You know, I just noticed that you were even wearing the Mariah shirt, Will, because you can't see it with your name on there.
Oh, yeah, I am wearing the Mariah shirt. I mean, no, I'm not wearing a shirt that just says, hold on, No, it is.
It's Aya.
Yeah, Aya. No, it's Mariah. There's a butterfly there. You should see butterfly. There it is.
Well, Will, anyway. I got to tell you, my shirt's better than yours because my person's a better singer than Mariah. You know who it is? It's Bambi. No pop.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Yeah, no. This is weird though because my weekend collides here because I've got my after the week co-host here, Denise Salcedo, and then I've got who I host with on Sundays. I've got Phil Lindsey, who I host with on Saturdays. Where's my loyalty lie? It's with Phil, but where does it lie? I don't know.
You just said it's Phil, even though you came on this stream and you were like, Denise, why'd you book Phil on this show? Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Phil, I'm very happy to have you on here because this is your first time on the channel, so welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. If anybody was wondering, this is Richard Pryor on my shirt.
I love how you guys have great stuff on your shirt, and then I have Bambi.
Ain't nothing wrong with Bambi. It's the first
movie everybody cried. Terrible
joke.
I tried, man. I tried. All right. Well, this is not a Bambi Mariah Carey show, but we are going to go ahead and get into All Out. So first and foremost, Phil, we're going to kick things off with you in terms of like getting going, given that we're just a couple of days from this like All Out weekend started. How are you feeling?
Are you kidding me? After that promo on Wednesday, I am excited to be at the Now Arena and cheer for Punk to win the title back.
Hell yeah. What about you, Will?
I am very excited about the possibility of some of the surprises and things that could be in store for us. I like that we have a Joker in place. Who could it be? Who knows?
Who the hell knows? All right, well, we'll get into all of that here today and find out who we think our predictions are for the Jokers and for who's going to be winning matches, etc. And we'll also be talking about some of the builds leading up to these matches. But before we get started, just a heads up to everybody here. If this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for coming. Welcome. Please take part in the chat. I do pull out comments here and there and read some of those. However, if you want to help support the show and if you also want to get your question, your comment, your statement, your prediction, your rant, whatever it is, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat at any point throughout the show, and it also helps keep us funded and all of that good stuff. You guys already know the drill. So let's get to this. Are you guys ready? We're going to go ahead and kick things off with kind of summarizing as a whole the AEW All Out 0 Hour, mainly just because we have 3 matches announced. I don't know if we want to go through all of them, but I will go ahead and get your official thoughts on these. And Will, since you already corrected me on this first one, what's the 4th one that's been added? I know they're going to add another one.
They're going to.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put it, Will.
Yeah, I know. That was me just kind of hinting that there's going to be another one.
He
said it, but you don't know what it is.
Oh, no. We lost Will.
Did we lose Will? Because I'm right here.
I still see him.
Okay, cool. Well, Will, okay, there you go. You're back. Continue on.
Okay. Yeah, I was just saying that we don't know what it is, but there is a... or at least he hasn't said what it is, but the 4th one will be announced tomorrow, and it's something people are kind of looking forward to.
Any hints?
I'm not saying anything on your podcast.
Yeah, I know you're not.
I'm not saying anything on your podcast.
You were like, oh, it's something people are going to be really interested in.
Look, I don't know if you know this, Denise Salcedo, but I am now making the Fightful Select scoops, which means now
So
this
now
is
we're
stuff that gets
expecting it
paid.
on Fightful Select.
So this is
Where
all
is it,
stuff
Will?
that if you want, you're going to have to spend. Hold on. I want you to say it in Sean Ross Sapp voice.
Oh, you're going to have to spend $5.
There it is.
Alrighty. Well,
Thank
so in terms of the matches that have been announced so far, how do you feel about them?
I mean, look, the 0 Hour was an exciting concept when it happened with the first All In, and part of what was exciting about it was that it was a card in itself. It wasn't just like a pre-show. But the original 0 Hour like actually aired on network TV too. This here, though, I think is trying to be along those same lines. Like if we get a 4-match card that's actually got a championship match on it, we even got the animated versus graphic with it. I think, and we're getting matches that already like people want to see. Eddie Kingston versus Ishii, like that's a match people have wanted to see. That we saw the first one, it was phenomenal. Getting to see that again, that you can't ask for more than that. Pac versus Kip Sabian is something that's been built on Dark. It's something that again, I think people have had a desire to see. We're finally getting to see Kip Sabian back in the ring. What has all this gimmick been building to? I like that this is kind of the payoff for certain things here. And being a card in itself, I think it's a good way to try and sell All Out.
Awesome. Phil, how do you feel about these All Out 0 Hour matches that have been announced so far?
I'm excited. I think Kingston versus Ishii is going to be great. I'm really excited for Kip Sabian's first match back with Pac. And I think Hook is probably going to squash Angelico, but well, not Angelico, Angelo. Sorry.
Sweet.
I don't know if it'll be a squash because I don't know. They've been. I have a feeling Daddy Magic will have some kind of interference in there that'll make. Look, Matt Menard is my guy. I think honestly, his commentary recently on Elevation has been really good. They'll find a way to prolong it. I don't think it'll be a complete squash.
Have I told you you were gone by then? That was Monday after Double or Nothing. I was walking down the strip, probably drunk at this point. But Matt Menard just comes walking past me, sweating up a storm, no shirt on. I was confused at first because I was like, "Wait, that Matt Menard?" And now I look back and I was like, "Totally Matt Menard."
Oh no, you didn't tell me that story. No,
hilarious,
that's
hilarious side. I didn't bother him because I was like, "Nah, let him have a day off, man."
No,
well, thank you for sharing that awesome story on this podcast.
Come on, man.
All right.
You didn't even have to pay $5 for it.
Exactly. Thank you, Phil. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into these main card matches because there are so many to talk about. And we're going to go ahead and kick it off with one that I think personally has had some of the best storytelling heading into it. And that is Jungle Boy and Christian Cage. Personally, I've been a big fan of this, mainly because of all like the savagery in Christian Cage's promo, you know, saying the things about his mom, attacking his dead father, you know, stuff like that. It's savage. And personally, I've been enjoying it a whole lot. I think it's added so much to Jungle Boy and everything that he's doing in AEW. But Phil, we'll kick it off with you here. What are your thoughts on this one here? And do you think that Jungle Boy is going to get his revenge on Christian Cage for all of his comments?
Yeah, I think Jungle Boy is going to win here. I think the build has been pretty good. I thought that line Jungle Boy got off last night was great. And finishing the promo with, "You're going to fight Jack Perry." That was a great bar. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good match, and it should, you know, elevate Jungle Boy.
Completely agree. Will Washington, thoughts on this one?
I have really been into this because, you know, the thing people have said most about Jungle Boy, the biggest criticism at him has been that, where's his personality? You know, he's kind of dry. He kind of doesn't get to say much. He's not a great talker. And I feel like he's gotten to prove that he does have some depth, that he does have some character. Christian's been good at this for a long time. Christian's been able to get under your skin for the last 22 years. And so I thought this feud has been great for getting Christian reestablished as a guy who like really can get under your skin and get on your nerves. He's great at that. And he's great at generating heat. What I'm most interested in here is that Jungle Boy's matches up until this point have all been very wrestling matches. This hasn't been a feud that, like, I would honestly be angry if I saw somebody apply a hold here because, like, this isn't the feud for that. I think ultimately Jungle Boy has to come out with the victory. You don't get to say that about my dad and then beat me. So yeah, Jungle Boy is definitely taking the victory, but I think we are going to see a lot more of a fight than we've seen before.
I think I completely agree with you. It has to be a fight. Like you mentioned, you can't talk about someone's dead father and then not like go out there and just like want to like get your hands on them. We have a prediction here from Will McLean who says Luchasaurus screws over Jungle Boy and has been working for Christian the whole time. Thoughts on this?
I hope not, just because AEW, like, just up and down this card has already had multiple betrayal angles, where we're literally seeing Powerhouse, Hobbs, and Ricky Starks face each other. Like, I just want to see some friends be kind to each other and be good to each other and be freaking loyal. There's already multiple double cross storylines on this show. I am good on having any more.
You're just happy and want us all to be friends with everybody.
I do.
Okay, I gotta tell you, part of me would not hate that idea that the other Will just suggested, just because part of me would like to see the story like keep continuing and kind of getting even to like more so of a different level. Like let's just say Jungle Boy doesn't win at All Out, right? Let's just say he doesn't. Let's just say that Christian finds some way to screw him and Christian ends up winning. I wouldn't hate that just because I kind of would like this story to continue just because of how well it's been doing, like not just for Jungle Boy and everything, but I think prior to this, there were a couple of people on social media that kind of felt like, you know, maybe they weren't doing all that much with Christian Cage. Maybe Christian Cage wasn't doing all that much on AEW. And now I feel like this has been a reminder of what Christian Cage can do and how he can contribute and work with the younger talent as well. So personally, I honestly wouldn't hate it if Christian Cage won this match. Part of me even kind of wants him to, just to kind of take this story to another level. Thoughts on that, Phil?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them continuing this. I don't know if the DQ finish is a good way to continue it because, I mean, even if Christian loses, we've seen heels come back and go, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you beat me and just keep the feud going. Like Corbin's made an entire career at WWE of losing and still coming back and keeping the feud going. So I think they can keep this thing going without doing a DQ finish. I wouldn't be mad at the Luchasaurus thing, but it would kind of feel like it's out of nowhere now because they haven't gone back to it for weeks.
Yeah,
Sweet. All right.
Like because I see what they're saying. Just really quick, because I get it. I get why people feel like the Christian and Luchasaurus thing like wasn't finished and felt like it came to an abrupt end. But like it was kind of refreshing to me to see like a friend go, nah, actually that's my dude. Sorry. And like that's a refreshing thing for pro wrestling, and I'm good with it. I actually like Jurassic Express together.
Well, I think we all like Jurassic Express together, that's for sure. All right, so are we in agreement that it seems to be that it's going to be Jungle Boy across the board here?
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next match here. This next one, we got Miro, Darby, and Sting teaming up to face the House of Black. Will, let's kick it off with you. How have you felt about the lead up to this, and how do you feel about who you think should be coming out on top?
Like the lead up to this is interesting because what qualifies the lead up to this, because so much happened to get here, right? Because Darby Allin, it really started in the Royal Rampage back in Detroit at Blood and Guts, where we saw Darby Allin eliminated from the Royal Rampage in that crazy ass way in which Brody King got to choke out Darby and then drop him like a sack of shit. And so and then of course we saw the all of the fighting between. There have been little lead ups here and there with Sting having his interactions with Miro, but also Miro his interactions going back to really Forbidden Door, where Miro had to he was in that 4-way that also included Malachi. And so like a lot of things are considered build up to this match, right? This goes back to before Forbidden Door. And so it's hard to feel nothing but strongly because all of that stuff is stuff I liked. I liked the All Atlantic Championship match. I loved Darby getting eliminated from Royal Rampage. I loved Darby versus Brody King in the casket match. It had one of my favorite endings of the year, or not casket, coffin match. And then on top of that, I'd say the only thing I didn't necessarily like was the way House of Black got eliminated from the tournament. But at the same time, we knew this was where they were heading, so we knew they weren't going to win. It was just how we got there. Either way, I've been good with it. And then as far as who I think is going to win, Miro, Sting, and Darby.
Alrighty. And Phil, thoughts on this? Are you along the same lines as Will, or do you think this has to go to the House of Black?
Yeah, I think the baby faces are winning here because I feel like Darby is due a win because he's been basically getting beat up for months now. And I feel like Miro needs a big win too. And we need a payoff for Sting and Malachi doing these stare-offs for weeks now. So, yeah, I definitely think the baby faces are going to win here.
So I got to tell you, I'm in agreement with you guys both on the baby faces winning and all of that. But here's the thing. We got a question here from Sal P, and it kind of, I feel like I'm along the same lines here. He says, what are we doing with the House of Black? If they lose, they got to break up. They give them nothing. Because you mentioned Darby taking some L's here and there, but the House of Black have been too. Were you expecting a little bit more for the House of Black? Will, I'll kick it off with you.
It's hard because they keep being put in situations they can't win. Like, they shouldn't have advanced in the tournament. The tournament isn't their story. But at the same time, that's an L. And you know what? I'm changing my prediction. I actually think that House of Black wins at the pay-per-view.
What made you change your prediction? You got to work us through this thought process here.
Because of this very question. You lose a lot for them. And right now, I keep seeing it brought up in the chat, so there is one piece there of right now the House of Black does have an advantage, and it's an advantage that worked for them very recently. Last pay-per-view it worked out. Julia Hart. I see a lot of people bringing up that could House of Black be, or could the baby faces here be enlisting the help of somebody? I don't know, but I think they do have an advantage in Julia Hart that could at least get them ahead.
Or what about this one? This one is from Mr. Gonzalez09, who says CJ Perry showing up to beat up Julia Hart. Do you think that's a possibility? Predictions.
That's the one I keep bringing up. I've seen it like 5 times in the chat of CJ showing up. If that happens, that would be the difference maker. Otherwise, nah, I'm thinking House of Black has to take this one. Has Sting lost? Yeah, because Sting hasn't even taken a loss. This is actually the one that I could see being really good for Malachi.
Phil, did you change your mind? Because I still haven't changed my mind. I just feel like if you have them teaming up together, like, why would you have them like... this is the hard one. I think like both teams, I can see them going either direction. Phil, do you still want to stick to your babyfaces prediction?
Yeah, I still think the babyfaces are going to win. And I think this is probably going to be a way to possibly take Black off TV for a little bit and then bring him back in a big way. And you can easily spin this with Julia as like his like mouthpiece running it while he's away, and basically revamped him around that. I don't know where they go from here because they have taken a lot of L's. But man, that would be crazy if we're sitting in our arena and all of a sudden I hear da 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 da. I'm like, wait, what is going on? This company has jumped the shark. Like, what's going on? That'd be really wild if CJ comes out and that's the thing that puts. That would be really wild. Like, and she comes out like does like all the dancing and splits and everything.
I just think it would be huge for Malachi if he hits that Black Mass kick on Sting and just lays him out 1, 2, 3 like that. Especially considering when you think about what Sting's done so far and all of the wins Sting has gotten, and they've all been moments of like, holy shit, he still got it. Like to have that moment where somebody.
I don't think I'm ready for it, Will.
Look, Sting was my favorite wrestler as a kid. Are you kidding me? I grew up with Surfer Sting and all of that. That I love Sting. That to me would be a Malachi making moment if he were the one to finally best Sting. And I think if there was a time to do it, it should be this. Or as they're saying in the chat, Sting no sells Black Mass would also be hilarious.
Everybody would lose their shit.
I don't want that.
I was about to say there's gonna be people that are gonna be mad.
Are you kidding me? If Sting took Black Mass and then just like stood up and beat his chest, I look it. The wrestling analyst in me would be angry and think this sets the sport of pro wrestling back. But the 6-year-old in me that loved that spot from Sting would be screaming my head off in the arena and just loving every bit of that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're a little bit smarter than that.
Yeah, we got a super chat here from Sean. Oh, go right ahead. Do you want to continue on, Phil?
No, I was just saying, don't do this no sell spot, please. Don't do it. But I wouldn't be mad either way with either team winning.
We got a super chat here from Sean Dritschel. Thank you so much to Sean, who says, Team Miro wins with the help of the debut of Lana. And we kind of touched on this. And truthfully, like, I love Lana, and I've been wondering when and if she was going to be coming into AEW. And we know, like, here's the thing, like, last All Out, we got so many of these surprises and, you know, just so much that happened. I can't imagine a couple of surprises not happening at All Out this year. But again, we'll find out. Thank you so much to Anthony DiMaggio for sending in a super chat as well. Much appreciated here. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, to help support the channel, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat. You can get your question, your comment, your rant, your opinion, whatever it is, read on this show, and it helps us out tremendously. So shout out to Anthony DiMaggio for also sending this in. Alrighty, let's go ahead and move on, because after this, we got a match that was recently made, but yet it's had a pretty damn, I would say, good story too, because I've been feeling this one. I really have. Bryan Danielson versus Chris Jericho happening here in AEW. Phil, thoughts on this? Was this the match you wanted to see for Bryan Danielson at All Out? Were you shocked? Was this what you were expecting going into All Out?
Yeah, this made sense. This was always the logical conclusion to the BCC versus JAS stuff. The best wrestler from that group going against the consummate sports entertainer. Like, this makes the most sense. This is the marquee match. And I think it's going to be a great match. Jericho this year has been incredible. Like, he's really stepped it up this year, going all the way back to that match of Revolution with Eddie Kingston. He hasn't had a bad match this year, in my opinion. So I think this is definitely going to be one of the sleepers on the card. I think that Bryan is going to win, though.
I think he's got it, honestly. And I'm seeing a couple of people in the chat saying they'd be pissed if Chris Jericho won this one. I just feel like right now, like, you got to keep Bryan Danielson the way that he is. So I would definitely go with a win for Bryan Danielson. Will, do you agree? Do you disagree? And how did you feel about this matchup when it was made?
I mean, it felt like this was where they were going pretty much since Jericho took out Bryan at Double or Nothing in the Anarchy in the Arena match. Shout out to the poster right there. But it's Anarchy in the Arena. So this was everything it needed to be.
Now we lost Will.
Did we really lose me? I'm right here.
You came back.
I still see you.
You were stopped for a bit, and your eyes, you were doing the Undertaker thing. I was about to screenshot you, and then you came back, so I didn't have time to screenshot it. All right, continue on.
I
Sorry.
have to see this myself at some point. But this was pretty much everything that's been built to. You saw Jericho was kind of taking little shots of the fact that Bryan hasn't been around. So we knew this was kind of where things were heading.
You're seeing this too, right, Phil? Or is it just me?
Yeah, he's smooth over here.
Yeah.
What? Is it me?
It could be you.
Shit. All right, continue on. I'm just going to, if you freeze, just forget it. Maybe it's my internet. Go on.
Okay. I guess the chat would be the biggest indicator.
Yeah, let us know. Is it me? Am I freezing to you guys?
No.
What the fuck? No. Okay, sorry. Continue on, Will.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to disrupt you.
They say Denise is tripping. It's just...
What the hell? I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm going to start screenshotting it. All right, continue on. I'm sorry.
Okay. My point here, audience of Instinct Culture, it is that we've seen this match twice in WWE. It was once when Bryan Danielson made his NXT debut in NXT, on NXT since it wasn't a brand at the time. And then we saw it in 2013 in the build-up to Elimination Chamber. And both times, of course, Bryan weren't quite Bryan's night. And I like just this idea that Jericho has, for the most part, had the best of Bryan Danielson, pretty much going back 12 years. And now Bryan has a chance to right that wrong. My prediction is Bryan Danielson. I also think this could be potential match of the night, knowing that Jericho is going to try and do this in Lionheart mode. And then also we have the outside factor, Daniel Garcia. He's been the story here this whole time. And this could be his moment of showing where his allegiance lies. Is it to his hero, Bryan Danielson? Is it to his mentor, Chris Jericho? I think this is where we find out.
I feel like it's very, I'm expecting some sort of betrayal here from Daniel Garcia, especially because on Dynamite, the last thing that Jericho said in his promo was, oh, Bryan, you need to watch your back. But I feel like in turn, it's going to have to be like this whole time. He should have been watching, been the one to watch his back, especially the way that Daniel Garcia came in during that promo, like out of nowhere saying like, oh, it's cool. We're all right, you and I. It's like, why? So I'm definitely expecting a turn there. From Daniel and basically, going with the whole I'm a wrestler type of deal. So I'm looking forward to this match. I think it's also going to be a good one, but definitely Bryan Danielson for the win here. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into the next one. This next match that we're going to talk about, FTR and Wardlow versus Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. Phil, we'll kick it off with you. How did you feel about the announcement that the Motor City Machine Guns were going to be taking part in this trios match?
I was relieved because I had no interest in the 6-man tag match before. But when you add Motor City Machine Guns, like this is a legendary tag team that adds so much to this. That changes FTR being in this match so much. And man, if that possibly gets us FTR versus Motor City Machine Gun in a traditional tag match, sign me up. I feel like FTR and Wardlow need to win this match though, because where do you go from there if they take this loss? Like you could just see all of the takes on the internet starting the second they lose. Like, oh, FDR is treated horribly. Oh, they're not even in the video game, blah, blah, blah.
Agreed there. Will, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, FTR and Wardlow are definitely winning. I was excited at the announcement of the Motor City Machine Guns being here just because, look, this is the best tag team division in the world. And just to get to see them on this side, I'm like, hey, can they just hang out just a little bit longer because there's so much else I want to see. But I think this is going to be a great match. I think we are going to at least get to see the traces of what you want to see, Phil, in FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns. But look, Jay Lethal's no slouch either. As a matter of fact, all these guys are going to make Wardlow look like $1 million. And Wardlow is not even somebody I would consider bad, but these are all guys who are legendary wrestlers here. There's no way, though, that the guys holding gold in a non-title situation are going to take the loss here in a major pay-per-view situation. Also, they're not going to have FTR lose to Impact guys. This is totally FTR Wardlow's night. It's not happening. But FTR and Wardlow are taking the win.
I'm going to ask you this, Will. Were you surprised that this was Wardlow's All Out match and same thing for FTR?
No. I think that it's been a year since the TNT title's been defended on a pay-per-view. They've actually traditionally, what I am surprised by is that there isn't one on the Go Home Rampage, because that's usually what Tony's move has been to keep the TNT title off the pay-per-view, but in order to sell that Go Home Rampage that you need to sell tickets to, you usually put the TNT title match there. So no, it doesn't surprise me that Wardlow isn't having a match at the pay-per-view, but it is surprising me that there's no defense at all this week. And then FTR, the only thing I'm weirded out by with FTR is that they closed the last pay-per-view, which I'm actually referring to Death Before Dishonor, with FTR having a stare down with Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, which was never followed up on, and the thing I very much thought that FTR was going to be doing at this pay-per-view.
Man, I had forgotten about that until you brought it up right now. It's like, oh yeah, we didn't even get anything after that. That was like a whole big moment and nothing happened.
Nothing came from
but
that.
I have a hunch on why, though, because I think that I could definitely see at the end of this pay-per-view, this Punk has to win out, and of course, for this to happen, Punk being out there and FTR puts him on his shoulders just for kicks. Wardlow comes out there. Very funny that his group is basically Pinnacle, by the way. And Blackpool Combat Club comes out, and they have a stare down.
That could be something.
That's my guess.
All right, I think that's a pretty good guess. All right, we got a super chat here from Bridget Hewlett. Thank you so much to Bridget, who's always very generous here. Bridget says, this is one of the matches I'm most looking forward to. Yeah, I honestly think like it's going to be a fun one. It really, really is. But seriously, Bridget, thank you so much for always being super generous and kind on this show. Much appreciation to that. Chat, please give some love to Bridget. We got another super chat here from Bridget Hewlett. Thank you so much to Bridget. She says that first super chat was for the Jericho match. Ears to sweet. You didn't even have to clarify, but thank you so much for sending this in regardless. Seriously. Alrighty, guys, and let's go ahead and continue on from here. So after this, we're gonna get into this next one here. Big fan of both of these guys, and I'm curious to see what your guys' predictions on this one is. Phil, I'm gonna start it off with you. Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs. Do you see a clear, definitive winner here, or do you feel that they can go either direction?
I do think they can go either direction, but I do think they're gonna go with a definitive win for Ricky. Just the build to this match, because he's kind of taken beatings this entire build, and they've kept him away from Hobbs the entire time. I think that Ricky's gonna win. And I kind of feel like they can easily go back to this, but I don't feel like Hobbs really loses anything if he loses here. I also wouldn't be mad if Hobbs wins, but I just kind of feel like, considering the story here, it's probably Ricky's match to win.
Will, do you agree or do you disagree with that?
I agree with the idea that this is Hobbs's match to lose and Ricky's match to win. So that is why I am picking Powerhouse Hobbs. I am willing to let myself be wrong on one thing here, but I feel like while the story is that, Ricky has essentially come up short here and he's gotten his ass beat all this time, I think that there's a real opportunity here to cement Powerhouse Hobbs as a force, as somebody who Ricky just can't get past, and somebody who's dominant. And I think that, I would love to see Ricky having his spear set up and him running and Hobbs just catching him and laying him out with the spine buster. I, for one, feel that will look super dope. But two, I think then, you can go, there's so many places you can go with Hobbs next, right? Because you do that, you could set Hobbs up for Wardlow. Big powerhouse match there. There are places you can go. I know Ricky is a really hot babyface, but I feel like he's one you can keep hot in defeat, whereas I don't know where Hobbs goes with a loss.
Yeah, I agree with that, because that's the thing. I feel like it's Ricky's match to win, like you guys both said. And really, it kind of feels like I kind of feel like we're finally getting the Ricky Starks that we have been we have kind of seen shades of, right? I think he's been pretty damn good with all his promo work. I've loved everything that Ricky Starks has done, but it kind of really didn't feel like his moment when he was FTW champion. It kind of just felt like an afterthought, like something we didn't really think about. And I feel like ever since, actually, I think things have gotten better for him after he lost the championship, which is random, but it does feel better. When the whole turn happened, I love that segment. It was probably one of my favorites that we had seen this year. I really, really love the way all of that was executed. So with that being said, I do think it's Stark's time, but I also have to agree though with Hobbs, it just kind of feels like it feels like he hasn't had that moment. The last big thing that I remember for Hobbs was when he had that match with CM Punk, and that was a pretty cool, exciting moment. But since then, I feel like he's sort of been kind of like a background player.
I don't know. He hit them spine busters on Keith Lee this year, and I think those have been his career moments. I thought that was the coolest things he's done, pretty much.
Yeah. He beat Keith Lee, right?
No, but he pinned Keith Lee in the tag match in New Orleans.
That's
Keith Lee and Keith and Swerve versus Hobbs and Starks, and he hit him with the spine buster, and then there's me in the front row going, because I was genuinely shocked that happened.
I love it. Adam Russo sends in a super chat saying, I just hope they have stuff lined up for after the Hobbs versus Starks feud. Want to see both these guys get bigger spots after this is over. Thoughts on this? Phil, I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that Hobbs winning makes a lot of sense because you can push Hobbs further up the card. He is third in the ranking right now, so you can slide him up there for that matchup with Wardlow. And because Ricky's so good at promos and he's so good at doing the determined underdog thing right now, you can make a story of him building his way back up.
I love that. I really do. Will, did you want to add to this, or should we move it along?
You can move it along.
All right. I'm always trying to guess. I'm like, does he look like he has something to say? All right, I'll ask. If not, I'll hop on to the next thing. All right, so I feel like
I'm going to try and just stone face for the rest of the show. Then.
I know, it's going to be hard to read your face, dude. But anyways, I think Ricky Starks for this one, and it seems like we're kind of on board. Here's the thing that I'm kind of noticing too, is that I feel like we're all kind of on the same page here in terms of where we think this is going, who we think is winning. There hasn't been a match yet that we've kind of really been like, on opposite ends. Will, do you have a thought? This face is scaring me, Will. You look so mean. You look like a statue. Will.
I thought his cam was froze again. I was about to say,
you were about to be like, yeah, it's really her. Oh my God.
No, I don't know. I don't have anything on that.
All right. Thanks a lot, Will. We got a super chat here from Mike from Indeed who says the Spinebuster pile up in the tag title triple threat was an all-time Hobbs moment. That was a pretty dope moment. Thank you so much to Mike for bringing that up and also sending in this super chat. Will, do you have a thought?
Yes.
I'm just going to keep doing that.
I've seen that match a million times. Thanks, Mike from Indeed. But yeah, I've seen that match plenty because Swerve and Keith won the tag titles in that match, and it was such a cool moment. Hobbs Spinebusters are becoming quite a thing people are into, and I can't wait to keep seeing more.
Sweet. Alrighty, let's go ahead and continue on from here. Let's get into our next match. And the next match that we're going to get into is, we're going to start up with the title matches now. So TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus Athena. I want to start off by asking Phil, what are your thoughts on Athena essentially coming into AEW, and what do you think her debut has really been like so far?
It's kind of a mixed bag because I do think that they did something that they haven't done with the women very often, and that's build a pay-per-view match starting at the pay-per-view. But the
you
problem
cut out
with
there,
that
but
is,
I think you were saying from the pay-per-view before.
I was scared. I saw that too, and I didn't want to say anything because I thought it was me.
No, I knew it was actually. I've been podcasting with Phil all day, so I know when he's like actually losing it.
But he's good.
So, no, I think they've done something with the women's division that they haven't done in a while, and that's, ever. And that's started building a match at the last pay-per-view and paying it off at the next pay-per-view. So that part is good. But the problem is the pay-per-views were so far apart that it's taken us forever to get to this match. Now, it has built anticipation for the match, but at the same time, I can see people going like, it took way too long for us to get from point A to point B. But other than that, I do think Athena has been different here than she was with WWE. It definitely feels like she's being more of herself. It doesn't feel like we're going, okay, what is the Ember Moon character? Is she a witch? Is she a werewolf? Like, this just feels like Athena being Athena, and I enjoy that. I enjoy the wing stuff. I enjoyed the Jade stuff of destroying the wings. I thought that was the best segment of their feud so far. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. There are things about it I like, but I do think it took too long to get to the match. I do think Jade is going to retain, by the way.
And I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat here that are saying that it should be Athena. And quite frankly, I'm a little surprised by that because I feel that this one to me is an obvious one that Jade Cargill should retain. Will, is it that obvious to you, or do you think that they might go a different direction?
Oh, yeah. Jade Cargill retains. This is not happening. I have my ideas for who I think should beat Jade. I don't think it's Athena. But
Who do you think, or who would you like?
So somebody had a shirt released yesterday, and that shirt indicated that this person is probably All Elite, given that it's an AEW official shirt, and that was Willow Nightingale. And I think you have a story you can tell with kind of a plucky, happy-go-lucky face that Jade just wouldn't be able to stand, that ultimately bests her, especially because Jade's beaten her before, but usually in like tag situations, things like that. But like with the TBS title on the line, and where Jade's like, look, I've already beaten her, small potatoes, I'm going to take care of her. And then to beat her, and I can just see the elation in Willow's face, like just running around with that championship. I think you could create a moment there, and that's what I absolutely want to see, is Willow Nightingale be the one to do it. Look, she's got an AEW shirt now, and the last time that somebody got an AEW official shirt that had the AEW logo on it, it was not that far after they were given an All Elite graphic. So, thank you.
Didn't Takeshita have an AEW shirt as well?
Did he?
I think he did.
Oh.
All right, well.
Me. But either way, as far as this match is concerned, as far as the build's concerned, I agree with Phil that it did kind of take a little too long to get here, because it literally did start at Double or Nothing. We were there. We saw it happen. That's where this started. And we never necessarily got to a stopgap. I'll say this, though. Athena and Jade, and Phil pointed this out to me, actually, but there was that tag match not that long ago that Willow was actually in. And when Athena got tagged in and finally got a confrontation with Jade, there was a pop from the crowd. And it did say that spending 3 months keeping these ladies apart did create a sense of anticipation. And the fact that we haven't seen them officially get their hands on each other is making me want to see it happen. I don't think we're at the end of Jade's streak yet. I think there's plenty more you can do with it. And I'm ready to see her continue to check fools. Jade is retaining here.
Now, here's the thing that I completely agree, Jade to retain, etc. When you mentioned Willow's name, I was like, why didn't I think of Willow before? And the thing is that she, to me, feels like, because, okay, at this point, they've gone so deep, they've gone so far into Jade as champion that whoever does defeat her, like, this moment's got to be worth it, man. This has got to be like a game changer moment for whoever wins this championship. And for a while, I thought, the person that could probably get there would probably be Chris Statlander. I thought, people like her, people get behind her. But, things went a different direction. And unfortunately, she got hurt. And, so that's not an option as of right now. So I really couldn't think of anybody else that I felt that the fans would be like, all right, you know what? This is a good one. But the second you mentioned Willow, she's somebody that, like, from the instant that she started appearing in AEW, she is one of the few people that I have seen across the board on like social media and everything get like general like love from like the majority of people, because people like Willow. She has a very like just a happy vibe, and you want to root for her, you want to cheer for her. So I do think if she were to be the one to eventually defeat Jade and win the TBS championship, I think that would actually be like a new like star in the making moment for her. So I would really be behind that. We got a super chat here from Brandon Rosen, a good friend of the show. Brandon says, I feel like it's about time for Jade to lose. With Chris Statlander out of action, I'd rather see Athena win now and have Chris get the title shot when she returns, rather than waiting another 6 to 8 months for her to heal. I don't know I just don't know that this is the moment for Athena.
And I don't know, I guess, on what grounds is it
Man,
time?
said, on what grounds?
On what grounds? No, I need to know, like that first sentence. On what grounds is it time for Jade to lose?
Maybe
Why?
Some people think it's getting stale.
I don't think it is. She's the best women's champion in the company by far.
Yeah, I mean, she is like a big part of her aura is staying undefeated. I don't know why. I mean, look, she hasn't been around that long. Her first match was still only in 2021. Like, we're not talking about somebody who's been undefeated for 5 years. Like, this is somebody this is somebody who literally showed up last year, and like, she debuted in 2020, yes, but she didn't actually have a match till beginning of 2021. Now, you can keep this going a while. Like, think about how long Asuka was undefeated. You can keep this going for a while.
I think what kind of gets me excited about Jade's long reign and why I would rather have her like wait it out till it's like the right moment. Because I feel like I said, Willow's the person that I think one of the people that I think that people will genuinely be like, oh shit, like we're on board with this. And like right now you mentioned Athena, and I kind of feel like she had the same effect that like Ruby Soho had, where it was like, yeah, you have like you people rooting for this person, but you don't really feel this like overwhelming sense of like, oh my God, yes, this needs to be the person. The time is now. I don't really feel that way for Athena right now. And that's not to take away from Athena. It just doesn't really feel like the time. If it were to happen, it would kind of feel to me like a waste of everything that they've done with Jade so far. And it would also kind of feel like, they just wanted to get a little pop because we saw a title change type of thing. That's the way that I would feel personally if they did have Athena win here. But the thing that has gotten me excited about Jade actually being a TBS champion for this long, and it really kind of like, I didn't really start to feel this way until I'm trying to remember all the press conferences at this point are all a blur to me. They're all like the same one. But there was
I can tell you which one was one.
I think it was Double or Nothing, right?
Okay.
Yeah, was that Las Vegas? Double or Nothing,
yeah,
right?
Double or Nothing.
Okay. When she did that media
I've been at
scrum,
all of these with you. Like literally sitting 2 feet from
Will, it was a blur. There's been so many. But the point that I'm trying to get at here, though, is that it was that day that I thought, you know what? Like, what makes me excited about seeing her as champion for this long is really the possibilities of what she can do crossover wise, like mainstream wise. Like if I can see anybody kind of getting these like TV appearances, these like movie roles, these like little extra gigs here and there, Jade Cargill to me is the person to do that. So I feel like her being champion for this long is just like helping her get closer and closer to those things.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Because I feel like if you're going to take the title off of her, and she's essentially the A champion for the women at this point, where do you go up with her from there? Like, what do you do with her if you take the title off of her? Because I feel like there's still so much you can do marketing her, and there's so much you can do with this run. If you take the belt off of her, where do you go from there? And that's not to say that, Athena winning would be a bad thing, but it doesn't feel like when Athena was up against Asuka in Brooklyn, it felt like that was Ember Moon's time. It doesn't feel the same way here because that was earned, and I don't feel like this is earned. I feel like Jade's definitely retaining. I don't know.
And we got a super chat here from Derek Gordon who says, so Willow beats Jade and TK meets her on the stage with a contract.
Tony Schiavone. We don't need TK.
TS. We'll change it to TS. Yeah, seriously. I mean, that'd be cool, right? I think so. Honestly, I like Willow, so I really hope nothing but the best for her. Thank you so much to Derek Gordon for also sending in that super chat. Alrighty, guys, and let's go ahead and continue on from here. Let's get into our next match here, and the next one that we got is for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, Swerve in Our Glory versus the Acclaimed. Will, I feel like either. You know what? I'm going to hold your thoughts for the main event. Phil, we'll kick it off with you. Thoughts so far on Swerve in Our Glory as tag team champions? And also, do you think that they're going to retain here tonight? No, Sunday.
I think Swerve in Our Glory has been a fantastic tag team. I think they've had 3 very good pay-per-view matches at this point, from Forbidden Door to Double or Nothing. The third one wasn't the pay-per-view match. It was a TV
was Fyter
match.
Fest, yeah.
Yeah. I think they've had 3 very good matches so far, and they just continue to surprise me. I still think them winning was one of the biggest highlights of the year because I don't think anybody saw that win coming. So I really feel like there's still stuff you can do with them as a tag team. I don't think they should lose yet. I kind of feel like Acclaim, I don't want to say needs the win, but I feel like they need a moment. And I feel like this match will kind of prove that they've arrived in the same way that Private Party's match a few weeks ago proved that Private Party is ready to progress forward as baby faces. So I do think this is going to be a hard fought win for them, but I do think Swerve and Our Glory is going to win.
I think it would be wrong, like, if they just, like, took the titles off of them, like, right now. It would be like, you're going, and then hit the brakes on something that is clearly working. So, seriously. Now, Will, thoughts on this? Also, before you get your thoughts, you're going to be proud of me. Do you want to be proud of me?
I'm proud of you. What am I supposed to be proud of?
I finally actually laughed about Scissor Me Daddy Ass. Finally, it finally happened the other day. Yes! I was very happy about a YouTube accomplishment, and my reaction was Scissor Me Daddy Ass, because that was legitimately like the first thing that popped into my mind. So now I feel like it's I don't know. I'm finally onto it. Will, thoughts on this one here?
Whose house?
Man, came with sound effects.
Is that what you were doing when you were on your phone?
Yes, I was pulling up the change to Swerve's theme song, which I made, baby. But wait,
hold on. Do it again.
I made that.
No, but do it with the eyes, the way you did it earlier.
Because I made a suggestion about change to Swerve's theme song, and then they were like, hey, you should actually just make that. And so I went and made it, and now Swerve's theme song opens with whose house? And then the crowd goes, Swerve's house. And I'm like, oh my God, a thing that I came up with, like, actually worked on TV. And every time it hits, people go, Swerve's house. And I get really excited about that. And people are like, nah, wait, that's actually just part of the song. Nah, I'm going to show you something. Hold up. Because I got the file right here on my phone. Hold up. You ready for it? Hold on. Because I things. So if I go into my Google Drive, I have a file titled, and I'm not going to get your YouTube channel banned, so I'm not going to play much of the whole thing. But
I was going to say, the AEW is going to come after me for copyright of their music.
No, and actually Swerve owns the song anyway, so there's that.
Oh, okay. All right. Then Swerve would come after me for the copyright of his music on here.
I mean, it depends on your opinions of him. But, so let me see. If I play this Big Pressure Whose House version, it goes, ready? Hold on. See, I made that change to a song, and I was really happy with how that turned out, and everybody liked the idea, and I like hearing it at the beginning of matches. I like hearing it at the end of matches, and since I like hearing it at the end of matches, how can I say I want anybody but Swerve to win this match? Now, that said, this has been built up way longer than people realize. Did you know that the first time Swerve Strickland appeared on AEW Dynamite, it was a segment that started with the Acclaimed. They were talking on screen. They were interrupted by Ricky Starks, and then Ricky Starks then gets interrupted by Swerve Strickland. And have you noticed that all of that has all strung itself together since really that first segment, where Swerve was tied to Hobbs and Starks for the last pretty much since March, and now we're going back to where it all began, which was the Acclaimed. This is actually a really tough one for me to pick. I know this is like legitimately, like I know I said all the Swerve stuff because I'm really proud of seeing my cousin win, but genuinely, the thing is, this is, if I'm not mistaken, the third title shot that the Acclaimed has gotten. They faced the Young Bucks, they lost. They faced Jurassic Express, they lost. This is the hottest the Acclaimed has ever been, and I don't know that you can necessarily get them this hot again and have people want to see them win the tag titles again like this. I feel like this is like a third time's a charm type thing. My gut feeling actually says, if you don't pull the trigger on giving the Acclaim the belts now, I don't know when you'll get another opportunity to do it. Smart.
Well, I didn't see this coming.
Smart booking for me says, they'll probably retain Swerve and Keith Lee because they've looked so strong. And like at this point, you should probably just have them carry them a little bit longer. Plus, Swerve's staying with me in a couple of months, and I want to see the belt up close. But so there's that. That's what I want to see happen. But also, I feel like the Acclaimed have to get. It has to be their time now, or I don't know when you're going to get another opportunity like this.
I have to disagree, Will. I feel like as much as I like the Acclaim, and I get what you mean by this is it, this is their time. I just feel like it would be like hitting the brakes on something that they got started with Keith and Swerve. I would just kind of feel a little bit like robbed from like actually seeing it come through in fruition, like for a good amount of time. Phil,
I think they have an out. By the way, sorry to cut you off, Phil, because they do have an out, and they're ass boys, and they do have a little bit of an out because all of that is still going.
Well, of course they have an out. They're ass boys.
No, what I mean is that there's ass boys, right? The
That's a very
boys.
inappropriate joke that I made.
Thank you. I just realized we were going with that. Thank you, Denise.
Jeez.
Denise, I have to say,
What?
these last 3 years have like so corrupted you that
Continue
this is just where we are now. But yes, I feel like the Ass Boys is a decent out for because they still have a thing going with the Acclaimed. And are you just gonna keep laughing at Ass Boys having it out?
Now I just have a visual. I'm sorry.
The visual of what? What?
He's just like, look, butts out. It's all great.
I don't know. Oh man, it's just the wording. The wording's too much for me. I can't handle
No,
it.
she has the visual. We now know like this is all that is occupied Denise's brain here.
No, it's a rollover from ass Grapsody. It's ass.
Yep. Fightfulselect.com in case you're curious about what we're even talking about there. But I don't know. My actual pick is Swerve in Our Glory, but I do feel like you're running out of opportunities for the Acclaimed.
We got a super chat here from Jason Major who says, "Will you be texting Swerve about this?"
No, you saw I was pulling stuff up on my phone. Why
I
would
mean,
I
you
text
could
him?
text him and be like, "Yo, what's up?"
But he'll be on Grapsody this Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
I'm glad you were able to score that interview with your cousin.
I know. You saw how like annoyed I was.
I don't know if you want to share that story.
No, I don't have to share it most
I was
of that,
just
but
throwing.
it was-
It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke.
Hey
man.
Yeah.
Great interview, by the way.
It's a great interview. It's a really great interview. YouTube.com/Fightful. It's actually a really, really great interview. And you'll see some stuff from it drop tomorrow on Fightful.com. Thanks for Jeremy for transcribing.
Sweet. All right. Before we move on to our next topic, just a heads up for everybody here on this channel. Please, if you haven't already, make sure you guys go ahead and click that subscribe button to this channel. I'm constantly posting all sorts of content here, whether it be prediction shows, interviews, and just like a bunch of other random stuff and different type of content that I do here on the channel. Please make sure to subscribe. We're well over 60,000 subscribers now. And then on top of that, Will and I, we have a new show that airs now each and every Sunday, except this Sunday because we're going to be at All Out, but it is called After the Week Podcast, and it is so much fun. We've done one show already, and basically what we do is we pick the best and the worst of the week, and we're live every Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the channel. So if you guys want to hang out with us, have a good time, that's the place to be. But let's go ahead
We
and
also
jump.
fist bump and it explodes, but I can't do it.
Wait a
right
minute.
now
Who is this woman in that promo picture? Who is that?
Oh, yeah, that's me.
I gave her shit about that on the first episode because I'm like, we shot these pictures and then shot this intro, and then she just changed her hair. Why not?
Wow.
I'm sorry. Apologies.
Come on, man.
I do things on a whim.
No synergy. No synergy at all.
Alrighty, let's get into our next match here. Let's get into the Trios Championship Tournament Finals, the Elite versus TBD, although it feels very obvious.
Is it? I don't know.
I think so. It's got to be.
I don't
I
think
know.
it's
You
right.
may think so. I don't think so.
Okay, in that case, Phil, you know, we start off with Phil. Phil, do you think it's obvious and who it's going to be, the Elite?
I don't think it's obvious at all. I think that this could go. I think this could go three different ways. man, it's really weird because now that he said the Claim could win, I've had this stuck in my head for the last 10 minutes. Like, can you imagine the Claim in New York with those titles? Like, that would be bananas. And I almost want to see that, but I just don't think it'll happen. But yeah, I mean, we don't even know who the next competitors are in the finals. That could go either way. Like, I could see the Best Friends winning and going on to the finals, but I also can see Dark Order going on for storied reasons. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad if Best Friends moved on because I feel like Best Friends kind of need to win more. And I don't know, just the way that they've booked them in this tournament, I could see them moving on. But in terms of outcome, I think the Elite is winning the tournament, regardless who's on the other side. I think it just makes too much sense right now to make the Elite champion. I think you don't wait for Kenny to come back to bring the belts in, to not put the titles on them. So I feel like it's the Elite.
Will, thoughts on this? Who do you think is going to be facing the Elite, and do you think that the Elite are going to be the first trios champions?
No. I actually think, genuinely, I think Best Friends win tomorrow on Rampage, and then I think they pull it off and beat the Elite. I think
wow, really?
So two things. One, can you picture an AEW pay-per-view willingly leaving off Orange Cassidy?
No, because he's a good. I love Orange Cassidy. He's great.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where they willingly leave him off. He literally had a match with Will Ospreay that was one of the bigger matches on the card just at the last pay-per-view. I don't see a scenario where Orange Cassidy is left off of a pay-per-view and willingly, because there's no place to insert him, right? What is he, the Joker in the ladder match? I don't think so. Like, I don't see another place you insert him. And so, whereas there's a story place you can still keep Hangman Adam Page. And we've left off the Dark Order before, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. I do think Best Friends move on. I think that Best Friends have kind of been the sleeper here in that they are the quintessential trio. They're the only team in this entire thing that have been together the entire time. That pretty much the only the teams that have been together the entire time are the Elite, because they've never really had a split in AEW. They have previously, but in AEW, Kenny and the Bucks have been tied together since day one. The only other team that's been tied together since day one has been Chuck Taylor, Trent Beretta, and Orange Cassidy. I think at some point you have to throw them a bone. They've been around for so long. They've been just incredibly loyal to the company. Orange Cassidy has been one of the top guys. You know, he's the top guy that's never probably going to get a world title. He probably could hold a TNT title, but there's a lot of guys that you probably put ahead of him. I feel like he's got to get some gold at some point. And to me, the guys to do it, I feel like the one to do is the trios titles. I actually think that they beat the Elite. My pick is Best Friends.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to go polar opposite of that. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say the Dark Order with Hangman, and I do think that the Elite is going to win the Trios Championship. My original pick was actually the House of Black, but we already know how that worked out, so I was like, okay, well, that's not happening then. All right, so I'm going to go the more generic route, if you want to call it that, with the Elite actually winning. Although, I thought you made some really great points, both of you.
Yeah, man.
That's why you have us here. You weren't gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna have some assholes who just say dumb shit, and I'm gonna bring them on my podcast on my YouTube channel.
Although
you save that for Saturday or for Sundays.
All right, let's go ahead and get this next one in here. Next match, we got the Casino Ladder match. Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta, Rey Fenix, Rush Andrade, Dante Martin, plus a Joker. So, thoughts on who you guys think the Joker is going to be? Do you have somebody? Do you have a list of people? Where are we at with this? Phil, we'll kick it off with you.
You've kicked it off with him the last 3 times.
Okay then. I'm sorry, Phil. Will.
Look at this guy.
Will, you take the spotlight.
That was a very light-skinned thing to do. I seen it the way you.
I've been waiting the last couple of times. I'm like, Okay, well, maybe she just did.
I seen it the way you kind of you humble bragged on us and did like the Genuine. You like summoned the patron saint of all light skinned people in Genuine and did like the head nod.
Okay.
Not that light. It's just my lighting.
So,
but either way,
am I starting with Will? Am I starting with Phil? Like, what's going on, Hill?
I don't
Here.
actually care.
I literally. Did you hear
You
what
can start
I
with
said?
Phil. Go
I
ahead.
said Hill. All these ills. All right. Okay. Will, take it. Just take it.
Oh, you're asking me. Okay. So.
Well, you made me feel bad, but now I feel bad that I took it away from Phil. Like, I gave it to him and then took it away from him. That's messed up.
Kind of like you gave it to Will and took it away from him in Quizmania.
We're done with that. We're tag team champions here. Well,
That's
interim.
true, we are.
Interim, excuse me.
Tag team champion. Look, we're interim tag team champions, and that to me is good enough. Okay, I have 2 picks for who I think it could be. MJF is the big one, and Samoa Joe. I think they'd both get positive reactions. But I think Tony's not stupid, and he knows he wouldn't book any type of mystery person scenario in Chicago with that crowd that could possibly turn on the rest of the show if they don't get the thing they're anticipating. He knows the conversations people are having. I think it's Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I think he wins the whole thing.
Phil, your thoughts on this?
I mean, yeah, my guess is it's probably Max. That makes the most sense. But considering if Punk is gonna win, which is probably my pick later, I don't think you should get to the Max match right away unless he's holding this title win, this title opportunity all the way to Full Gear. Because if you're going into New York with that as the title shot, I feel like Max has to win. Like, I don't think you give him that title opportunity just for him to come back and lose. So I could see it being another match set up for Grand Slam and not Max. And I think Joe is a good possibility there. I keep thinking about why did he say that roster thing, and he's kind of throwing me off. I'm like, is he signing somebody that we don't know about? He's been holding on to this big signing this whole time, and that's going to be the Joker. So I can go either way. I guess the safe bet is Max, but I could very easily see Max showing up on this card but not being the Joker.
But, like, my question is, where does he show up elsewhere in the card? Because a lot of people are saying, like, the main event, right?
With Stokely in his new stable.
I feel like you got to do it in the main event because he left in such a dramatic fashion. He just can't come back in a non-dramatic fashion.
Well, there's nothing more dramatic than the mystery person in the ladder match. Like, that
showing up and during the main event, I think is dramatic. It's a big, like, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to go to the main title picture. I'm going to be in there with the, like, top guys going in there right now.
But this is
like,
the title.
But I'm saying, like, him even coming out, like, afterwards. Like, let's say, like, after whoever wins, like CM Punk or John Moxley or something, whatever. And then he comes out and then has, like, a, I don't know, says something. Has some sort of stare down, Will.
But, like, my thing is, this is AEW, right? Like, the one thing AEW doesn't do is just bring somebody in and give them a title match. Like, that is a very Vince thing of Brock Lesnar just returns, he's number one contender, right? Or John Cena just returns, he's number one contender. AEW has never done that. And talking about, like, AEW having the win-loss records, MJF has won 1 match this year. He's 1-4 in 2022. So, like, there's, like, zero justification in any way, shape, or form for him to to even aim for the title without having something that guarantees it. And I feel like giving him, if you are going to have him go straight for Moxley Punk upon return, if that's what's happening, I feel like the only way to do that is to have him, in a very MJF way, bypass everybody. And the chip has been the bypass. That's been the, I don't care what you've done, I have this title match now. I think that's the only way to do it, logically.
So when do you do the title match if you think that? Because I think New York is too soon.
I don't know, but that's a good question.
Because, I mean, if Full Gear is in Newark, that's what we keep hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. You can hold out till Full Gear.
Full Gear for sure.
Yeah.
But if he wins the chip, you're going to have him hold the chip for until November?
Sure.
I think so. Because if you were to, well, I feel like you can't just, I was gonna say, just can't give it away for Grand Slam, but yeah, you can. But I would say Full Gear has to be it. It has to be it.
Yeah.
If they're gonna go about it that direction. We have a good question here though. This is from Will McLean, who says, "Does MJF get booed or cheered if he's the Joker?"
Cheered. It's Chicago. They're gonna cheer. Wait, I just thought about something. Sorry, Phil. Got to back up. There was no title match at Grand Slam last year. You can get by with Grand Slam with not doing a title match at all. Bryan was non-title. That was just a singles match. You can do anything at Grand Slam as long as it's a major match. It doesn't have to be for a belt.
Alrighty. So it looks like we finally are a little bit on what the hell is going to happen. Now, what if there is no MJF at all on the show?
Yeah.
I think that, again, I don't think Tony's an idiot. I don't think Tony would create a mystery person scenario in a time where everybody's screaming, "Where's MJF?" if he didn't have that to deliver. It was kind of like with Kenny, like you set up a scenario for people to guess it so that they could be satisfied. And same with First Dance. With the First Dance, same scenario where you set up people to think this thing. Right now, he knowingly, like, this wasn't on the card a week ago. Like, you didn't have to book a match with a mystery person. But now the mystery person's there, so now that's the thing you have people guessing. I feel like he's not an idiot. He knows that when you book this kind of thing, you're going to have people guessing this is who it is. And if he wasn't going to do that, there's plenty of other things Claudio could have been doing. There's plenty of things Yuta could have been doing. There's 2 title holders in this match. You could have had them do anything else. You have a tag team in this match, right? Like, Penta and Rey Fenix are a tag team. You could have had them doing anything else. But you put all of these guys in a scenario where something has to happen that can please the crowd. And there's very few mystery scenarios that are going to satisfy people.
But I will say this. You are right. They have set up situations where they have to have a payoff. They did that last year at All Out, and everybody thought that it was going to be Bryan, not Adam Cole, that came out. And they did 2 surprises in the same night. It wouldn't surprise me if we still get MJF on this card if he's not in a ladder match. It could happen.
But they did those within like minutes simply because they knew if we don't do the thing, because like people are already chanting yes. Let me tell you, that last minute of the ladder match before a countdown happens, that crowd is going to be chanting MJF. They're not going to chant anything else. Like, guaranteed they're not going to chant anything else. And so anything that's not him is basically doing the whole Royal Rumble 2014 ending with the, like,
it depends on who it is.
Boned Rey Mysterio. And
it depends on who it is, though. That's why I'm like, I could see it going either way. And the reason I keep saying I think it's a title match at
like,
Grand
I'm seeing
Slam.
somebody in the chat saying Darius Martin. Like, 1, he's not ready.
No.
But 2, like, you would ruin his career.
No, that
for
would be a terrible spot.
That would be
for
a
him.
terrible decision.
It has to be somebody that people are not going to boo. Are you going to boo like a Samoa Joe, for example?
No.
You ain't going to boo Samoa
You're
Joe.
not going to boo Samoa Joe. But again, that's why I'm like, if there's a title match at Grand Slam, that changes everything. Because no, you didn't need a title match at Grand Slam because you had Kenny versus Bryan. They don't have Kenny versus Bryan this year. They don't have a match that big this year. So what is the match if you don't do a title match?
Punk versus Kingston, New York.
You think that as big as Bryan versus Omega? I agree it's going to be big for New York, but you think that's as big as that match?
No, but
Search your feelings.
You know it to be true. I don't know. I just feel like, look, I don't see any of the field. Like, looking at the field right now, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Penta Oscuro, Rey Fenix, Rush, Andrade, and Dante Martin. Dante Martin is pretty much the only one I could see getting an actual title match, and even then, he's not going to win the title. But looking at this, looking at this field, no, I don't see any of it. And he's had a title match this year already. So that's the thing is, because that's right, he faced Hangman.
I can see it being like, if they wanted to, I can see it being Andrade as well.
He's pretty much the only one. Like, maybe Andrade, but like as I look at everybody else here, like, it's not going to be Claudio, it's not going to be Wheeler. He's already faced Mox plenty. Although he could, but even still, like nobody would want to see that right now. Ray Phoenix has had title matches. Like you got to put somebody in a scenario that people want to see. I think whoever it is going to be the Joker, or like you do an outside thing like Dante Martin. But other than that, I don't see anybody in this field getting the shot.
What if it's Jeff?
Jeff who?
Jeff Hardy.
No, absolutely not.
No, I'm just throwing it out there. What if it's Jeff?
Look, I'm just going to say this. I love both of your viewpoints, but my gut feeling I don't think it's going to be MJF. I think if MJF comes through, I'm not expecting him during this match.
Yeah. I mean, I can see him. I think MJF is the safe bet, but I do think it's a huge possibility that he could not be the Joker and show up later in the night.
I think that, like, one of the things that Tony Khan has said before, did he say this publicly? Am I about to say things that I don't know? Never mind. One of the things that Tony Khan has said about this match. Sorry, I can't remember what's just been like conversation. But one of the things he said about this match is like how proud of this match he is, and that it's a match that he's very well protected. It's only been done twice. The last time it was done was the time Hangman was the Joker and won the whole thing and went on to beat Kenny. It's a match that it's a well protected match. It's a match that is kind of AEW's like almost unique bread and butter, that this is a match that that they don't have, that there's really anything else like, that it is basically the Royal Rumble crossed with Money in the Bank, and it does lead to big things. This is a guaranteed title match, and they have very much they've thrown away the Casino Battle Royale winners like every year. If they win, they go on and they lose. I don't think any of them have actually won their match. I think every single one of them's lost, right? But as far as this match is concerned, last year you did the big thing with Hangman. It was the big moment, probably one of his career biggest moments, like right behind winning the title itself. So I don't know. I think that they got to do something big here to keep up with what they did last year if they want to protect the prestige of this match.
I still think that the prestige of this match would be kept even if it wasn't MJF. Obviously, it's going to be something big. Personally, I'm going more towards the Samoa Joe route. Somebody that it's not MJF, but they ain't gonna boo Samoa Joe. That's kind of my gut.
Yeah,
feeling
that's a
on
good
that.
pick. Who would you pick as the winner? Are you saying Andrade?
I feel like if it's Samoa Joe, then I would go with Samoa Joe.
See, he's got.
It really just depends. It just really just depends if who's the Joker, though.
True.
You know.
I'll say this though. So I'm seeing people in the chat saying, I just don't see MJF in a ladder match, guys. The most MJF thing you could do here would be, all right, I'm going to fantasy book this for a second, do some kind of big spot where like you have two ladders set up and all of the guys are, like three of the guys are on one side, four of them are on the other, and some big spot happens where both ladders fall over and they're all out. And then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, MJF just like walks in and just walks up and grabs the chip and like all of these guys just beat the hell out of each other. I literally did nothing, and I've got the chip.
And that gets him booed. Like, that definitely gets him booed.
Like, that would be kind of the dream scenario here of having all the guys take each other out, and then one guy walks in and is like, well, guess it's mine.
And it kind of picks up on where things left off, like in LA, when the way that he walked out, just like, went through the crowd and all of that, and then just like the way that everything went down that night. I could see something like that. Like if MJF is going to be the Joker, I think I would like a scenario like that, because it just, again, it picks up where he left off, where it's like, fuck it, this is mine, I'm out. Yeah. Just here to make a point type of deal. We got a super chat here from Derek Gordon, who says, I think Joe is a Joker and wins, faces Punk at Grand Slam. Punk wins after that match. MJF comes out. So with the MJF coming out at Grand Slam, if he doesn't come out at All Out, do you see him at Grand Slam, or do you see a Full Gear, or are you just like, I don't know what the hell's going on?
If he is not back in the month of September, he is not returning.
Wow.
September. Okay. By the end of September.
Yeah, that's my gut
Why?
feeling on all of this. Because at this point, any scenario that's taken place, which is, and granted, I've asked everybody that I could possibly ask, and I either get stonewalled, as in we don't talk about MJF, in a very like we don't talk about Bruno kind of way, or people are like, I don't know, I think he's probably back soon. And so but nobody seems to really know what's going on, and the people that do are like, we don't talk about it. And so I feel like the we don't talk about it people are either saying, look, he's freaking done here, or they're like, no, something big's like right around the corner, and we're keeping quiet. So something's happening soon, but I don't know what it is. But otherwise, we're over 3 months out. Like, I don't know what that's going to be. Hold on, sorry, I'm reading the chat and
no worries.
Reading little speculations and things
I'm
like
gonna
that.
Pull up
it's cute. It's great. I love it.
I'm going to pull up the super chat from Christopher Marino, who says, what's a bigger pop, MJF as a Joker or confronting Punk at Arthur Ashe? I'm going to say confronting Punk at Arthur Ashe, just because if the speculation is so high that he's the Joker, I feel like I think it would be more of a surprise if he were to confront Punk at Arthur Ashe. Like, out of these two scenarios, I feel the second one would be a little bit more of like, oh shit, now shit's going down, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I feel like New York is basically MJF town, and him coming back to Newark in November to challenge makes a lot of sense. But you have to get him there for the next few months, and you're gonna have a hard time with his record. So I don't know. I do think the pop would be bigger in New York, but again, something tells me he's showing up at All Out. One way or another, I think he's gonna be there.
We got a super chat here from Eric Fried, who says, could Joker be Hangman if he does lose to Best Friends? That's a good one too, I think, personally. You got to get Hangman on the pay-per-view as well. He's not somebody that I would leave out if he's not in the finals.
Rampage is going to, like, the funny thing is this entire discussion, everything we're talking about right now, could change completely with Rampage tomorrow and all make no sense. So I recommend, if you haven't watched this in full, watch it now, because it's all a lot of our speculation is going to be nothing tomorrow. So
yeah, I do like the
or
idea
post clips of us on social media looking like idiots. That's good too.
Hey, it's a prediction show. It's not a spoiler show.
Yeah, I do like the idea of Hangman winning and getting his rematch, but I don't see it.
Alrighty. And now, okay, let's see, where am I at? We got 2 more matches, guys. I know we've gone over time, so let's get to this next one. We got the AEW World Women's Championship match. It's a fatal 4-way, Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter. First and foremost, let's just get right into this one here. Thoughts on this? Because here's the thing. Here's what I've been noticing. I know what you're thinking, Will. You thought I was going to go a certain direction, but don't worry. You're throwing me off. Don't give me the face. All right. So, sorry. Okay, I might as well address this now. I mean, obviously, the number one thing that everybody's talking about on social media is what happened, what was said in regards to Thunder Rosa. And I know it's the big elephant in the room.
There's like multiple elephants in the room. We haven't even talked about the fact that like Thunder Rosa is not in this match. It's it's for the Interim Women's World Championship. There's multiple elephants. Yes.
All right. Well, which elephant do we want to tackle first?
The smelliest, and that would be the one that was the media call today. I mean, I've had to talk about it on 3 straight podcasts already. So what's another one?
What was your okay? I'll start off. My immediate reaction here when I heard the media call, it was interesting because I thought the first portion of the media call, there was really nothing that was too newsworthy. It was kind of just like everyday stuff. I feel like it was fine. Like there wasn't anything really there. Then we got to this like latter portion of this media call where we just kind of got a bunch there. I wasn't expecting the comment about Thunder Rosa, because it kind of just came out of nowhere. Like, not that it came out of nowhere because the question was asked, but I wasn't expecting, maybe I wasn't expecting the brutal honesty. Maybe that's what I think kind of took me by surprise, was just like the brutal honesty. And I feel like there's sometimes where, people in positions of power, you get asked certain questions and you find ways to like, kind of say things without saying things, or like rewording things, like making it a little bit more like politically acceptable, that type of thing. So while like I I feel that it kind of sucked to see like Thunder Rosa kind of get buried during this. Like, no matter how you spin it, it felt like a burial. And so I do agree that, Tony Khan's point where he said that, obviously an 8-minute CM Punk promo is going to do more because obviously CM Punk's a big star. Okay. That's just a given. You can even say that with him and a bunch of the other guys on the roster. If you're going to say, I'm not going to give this guy, if you were going to put a guy up, another top guy up against CM Punk and say who you're going to give an 8-minute promo to, chances are it's always going to be CM Punk because CM Punk's up there with the top talent. To that point blank, completely agree. I just kind of feel like the additional stuff where it was like, I think it could have been reworded differently to kind of not make Thunder Rosa look bad in the way that things kind of came out during the actual media call. Thoughts?
I feel like had his 2 paragraphs been swapped, this wouldn't have been as bad because the second point he made was probably the more valid one.
The timing one.
Where he said that, I knew about CM Punk's injury for 2 days. I knew about Thunder Rosa's for 2 hours. And so, like, 2 days is enough time to plan a whole Rampage segment and figure out what you're going to do. 2 hours, you already had this show booked. There was, like, pretty much, okay, we got to cut 30 seconds off of something else we had planned. That was pretty much it. I think that was the more valid point to make. As far as the rating thing is concerned, we just talked about this on Ask Grapsody, so I'm going to kind of steal a little bit of what Reg had said on it, which was kind of a catch-22, right? Because they sent Thunder Rosa out there for a promo a couple months ago, right? Top of the stage, she talked. Twitter trashed her for it. And talked about how, she can't talk, she can't blah, 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 right? And I recognize it's not the same people, but it's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of things, because on the other end, he didn't send her out there to talk. He kept her in a backstage pre-tape and got trashed for not sending her out. I think the solution here would have been just don't talk about this and do what you're going to do. And that's a tough position to be in, like, period. Like, I just would have stuck with the second point. And I think the second point was the one that was kind of the most valid, which is just a simple, we found out about Thunder Rosa's injury literally right before the show. And so this is what we have. This is it.
I completely agree, because when I was thinking back to this and, putting this whole, little video together, it was, had he just said that, the timing thing, we didn't find out with enough time. I don't think anybody would have had a problem with that. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people that are like, oh, that's bullshit, that's not true. There's still going to be that, whatever, I get that. But unfortunately, there was just more said that just it didn't look good. It was unfortunate, because nobody wants to have these are things that you don't want to be seen out there or hearing out there. So unfortunately, it was not great. So honestly, I was shocked when I was listening to it. I was like, the hell? I messaged you right away, Will, and I was like, dude, I don't even know what to say. We
sent each other emojis. I believe I sent you the teeth emoji, and that's all I could.
It does suck, because at the end of the day, Thunder Rosa, so many people were, I feel like I sound like a broken record already, but really, everything that her and Britt did, I mean, it was phenomenal. And I think that people really, really were happy when Thunder Rosa got her moment. And I know they were, because I remember covering that show and talking about it with people. And I remember everything that was said during that period. And I just feel like that from the very beginning, it kind of seemed that after she won the title, there was nothing much else put there, she wasn't going out there having all of these, fighting champion type of matches. She wasn't, she was just put on these quick little stage promos. There really wasn't much there. It almost kind of felt like she wasn't even a champion, which really does suck. And I feel like at a certain point, it's almost like, well, we're seeing that she's not being booked like a champion. And it became very clear from early on. So I do think that just adding this on top of that is kind of like, basically solidifying those theories that we may have had earlier.
Yeah, it's hard to say, like, is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Who knows? Because, like, last week, I pointed out that the match Britt Baker had between her and Kylan King, that was the second highest rated match viewership-wise of second highest rated women's match of 2022. That match did really well. That whole segment did really well for them, and it didn't involve Thunder Rosa. So, like, is it a chicken or the egg kind of thing? I don't know. And I'm glad I'm not in the position to have to answer for any of that.
Alrighty. Phil, did you want to add to this?
Yeah, I just think his answer looks worse because it's in a vacuum, right? Like, it's just, for a lot of people, they just see that quote. You're not adding the context of everything that's been going on with Thunder Rosa for the last few months, whether that be the injury, whether that be the bizarre news cycle around the injury, people saying, weird things about whether the injury is a work or not, the rumors about heat she has with people backstage. I think it just, on top of everything else going on with Thunder Rosa, it just looks weird. I don't think that he was attempting to bury her here, but it just looks off because I've been watching social media and I've been watching the reception to Thunder Rosa decline for a month, longer than a month, honestly. Declined since the Nyla promo after she won, which they should never have done. And I just feel like some people are being a little dishonest, if I'm being honest with you. Like, because I feel like people have been downing Rosa for a while. And that's not to say that makes what he did okay. But I do feel like some people had been saying she's not a good promo for a while. And I feel like to now go, all right, we'll give her 8 minutes for this promo. And then to compare it to a guy that is objectively a better draw and a objectively better promo than her, it's just like a weird hill to die on. Like, I don't even know if I would have phrased or asked that question the same way, because you're setting him in a no-win situation to answer this question. It's like, how do you answer that question in a way that will satisfy people? I just I don't know if there was a good answer to it. And no, yeah, he could have given a more politically correct answer, a more polite answer, but people had already made up their minds by the time the question was asked that she was being treated unfairly, whether that's valid or not. So I feel like his answer just kind of confirmed it for people, whether he was wrong or right. And so this was a tough situation. Everything around it is tough. Her situation back there, I feel very bad for her because I do feel like she came into the company white hot from NWA, and I feel like she came into the Britt feud with people wanting her to win and wanting to get behind her, and all of that has kind of gone away. It's just turned into a big mess.
And I also agree when you said the fact that she came in here like white hot. It's true. Like, dude, I don't think any of us would have predicted the way that things turned out. Things kind of played out for Thunder Rosa to kind of play out this way, to get from the point where, where it got to where, she they brought her into AEW.
This
even
man
though she was
bought her contract out.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So
that's how bad they wanted her there.
So it's weird. It's very weird, but I also agree with your point too. I don't think he was trying to bury her purposely, because he did say a lot of great things about Thunder Rosa prior to this, and I know the only part that we're focusing on is that part. But
right, he literally said that he said if it were a Thunder Rosa match, we'd be talking differently. He's like, I think she's a tremendous in-ring performer, and that was like the thing he literally said right after that.
Right.
But that's why I'm like, it's such an odd comparison to compare it to Punk, because Punk is known as a promo guy. So, of course, you're going to give him longer time on the mic because he's a promo guy. That's different than, giving Rosa string as a in-ring competitor, because that's where she excels. And every time he's given her pay-per-view matches, she's excelled. I've said more than once, I think that Double or Nothing match is one of the best matches of the year, and it's possibly the best match on that card.
Serena Deeb?
Yes.
Okay.
But I just think that this was, like I said, this question was loaded to begin with. And, shout out to Sam who asked the question, by the way, from Daily DDT. I don't want to make it seem like I think she asked a bad question. That's not what I'm saying here at all. I just think it was a very tough question to to kind of turn around and answer when you're trying to promote a pay-per-view. I'm not trying to shoot him bail either. It just was just, again, I don't know how I would have answered that question well.
I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, in his shoes, all I can say is I'm glad I wasn't in them. And because I don't know how I would have answered that without providing, like.
But there was an answer, though. It was just we didn't have enough time. You could have just said that. Like, that's it. That's
exactly.
it. There was a way to answer it. He pretty much did, kind of. It just it took him a while to get there.
It's the first part that's going to turn into the soundbite that people are going to drag on and on, because on the surface, it makes it seem like he's saying that men are a bigger draw than women. But I don't think that that's what he's saying. I don't think that he's saying that Punk is a bigger draw because he's a man. I think he's saying that because Punk is a massive star and he's a better promo than her.
I mean, there's a super chat coming in that's going to say about the same thing.
All right, well, let's get into these. This is from Derek Gordon, who says, this is the NBA WNBA argument. Why aren't they women paid as much as the men? It's because the NBA brings in more revenue. I feel like right now, though, with this topic, though, I want to say that when it comes to wrestling, I do feel like if you have somebody that has all of the tools to be a star, all you need is a little damn help from the company and you can have something there, because there are plenty examples of that. And I'm going to go over to the WWE side of this to give a big name, and that is Becky Lynch. And you can come up with even more people that have done phenomenally well for the women that, made themselves into something really big. So I feel like if you have what it takes, you have like the in-ring stuff, you have the personality, you have the charisma, you have all the things that it takes, right, to be a star. All you need is a little bit of that push, and you do got to invest in the women and also make sure that you're giving them pushes like you are the men, especially you have to. Like, I'm sorry, you have to. We got a super chat here from Adam Russo, who says, I think the main problem remains that you can't get people invested or allow for trial and error if the women aren't given time. Thoughts on this comment here?
I mean, yeah, so there is a if I say too much, I'll break some stuff. So we'll I've had some conversations, and it's so I can't
I can't,
but so I can't say what I was about to say, but so I'm trying to figure out. I think that there's a way to get there, but you have to recognize how, like, I think a thing a lot of people forget is how, because you brought up Becky Lynch. And there was a way WWE got there. And I don't think people are comfortable with how WWE got there if you explore doing that again. Because WWE did not get there with giving women equal time to men. That's not how that happened. What they did was they explored giving you women in short spurts. And if that's the way to do it, I don't know if that is. But what they did years ago was it was like, okay, we're going to give you 3 to 4 women's feuds, but each of them to start with is only going to get like 2 to 3 minutes here. But that did give you more of them to where they were able to grow it. Whereas AEW's strategy from the beginning has always been, we're just going to drop one feud on you. We're giving them 10 minutes, but it's just this one. And I think that can fans be comfortable with how WWE conditioned their fans to adjust to seeing more women, which was that you give them collectively, I don't think the women had more than like 10 minutes at a time, but what they were doing here and there was little feud here, little feud there, and then grew each one as time went on. If you can be comfortable with that, and I think that might be the way to go, then that might be the way to fix it, is doing more women with and kind of being comfortable with maybe not getting 10-minute matches anymore, but more so getting 3 to 4 minute matches, but getting 3 of them throughout the show. I think that might be the way to go.
And Derek Gordon sends in a follow-up super chat saying that he was referring to Tony's answer with the comment about the NBA, WNBA. Thank you so much to Derek Gordon for also sending in the super chat and some thoughts on here. All right. Did we want to add to this, or should we get into who we actually think is going to win for the Fatal 4-Way?
I don't think there's any more to add.
I was just gonna say in the investing thing, I do think that's a very valid point on the surface, but the thing that I don't like is that people will kind of use that to generalize, like they haven't invested in anyone and given us a reason to care about anyone, because they have very much invested in Jade, and that's part of the reason why we care so much about Jade. They very much invested in Britt, and that's why we care. I just think that they have to spread the love more. That's all.
Alrighty, and I think my pick for this one here is Toni Storm. By the way, I know a lot of people are rooting for Jamie Hayter, and I think it'd be awesome, but I do think the obvious choice is Toni Storm.
I say Toni Storm wins this one as well. Look, Hikaru Shida is my favorite wrestler in the world, across men and women. Hikaru Shida is my top. I literally just ordered. They just dropped a new Hikaru Shida shirt on AEWshop.com or shopaew.com. I just bought it. I hate that it's not going to be here in time for Double or Nothing. And if I see it, or not Double or Nothing, at All Out, and if I see it at All Out, I'm going to freaking buy it. I would love to see Hikaru Shida. I'll own a second one, whatever.
Do you have the shirt with Ruda on the front with like the samurai helmet? No, Ruda is her cat, by the way, if you don't know.
No, I don't have that one. I have the that first drawing one that they did, and then I got the second one with the kendo stick, and then I have the long sleeve one that says Holy Shida. And so this will be my fourth Hikaru Shida shirt, actually. Anyway.
Come on, man. Shame on you. Get that Ruda shirt.
I would love to see Shida win her first title in front of fans and get the reign that she was building up to prior to the pandemic and didn't get because of circumstances. But it's Toni's time. Toni is actually very hot, and I think that she was probably going to beat Thunder Rosa anyway, because it just seems like people are into Toni Storm, and she is proving to be something for the division that they've needed for a while. So I think no matter what, Toni Storm is going to walk out with the gold.
Alrighty, and here we go. Last but not least, the AEW World Championship match, CM Punk versus Jon Moxley. Phil, we'll start it off with you.
Boy, who do you guys think that I want to win this match? I don't know.
Is that a Chicago Bulls hat you're wearing there?
It is Chicago Bulls hat.
Hey, what city are you currently sitting in right now?
Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, what's
That's
your
city
name?
in the whole wide world, man.
Is your name Phil?
It is Phil. I am a Chicago Phil.
Oh, just like the Chicago Phil down there. Yeah, I wonder who Phil would pick.
Yeah, who am I picking here? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the local wrestler, CM Punk, that just dropped the segment of possibly the year. Yeah.
Did you like the squash?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great way to. I thought it was a great way to give Mox a moment in Cleveland and to kind of, give him this way of having bragging rights and not just writing him off after he had a great interim title reign. And I thought that was a great way to, put an explanation point at the end of that run. It was a shocking moment. It added more layers to the storyline heading into All Out. I loved it.
Will, are you on the same page here? Do you think that CM Punk should win?
I think Punk's winning, but I would like to acknowledge the run that Jon Moxley will have gone on for 9 months to get here. The fact that Jon Moxley hasn't lost at all since he came in, right? And now that I think about it, when's the last match he actually lost? Was it Lance Archer?
Hasn't lost a title match in Chicago, by the way, yet.
What, Moxley is that?
Yeah, has not lost a world title match with the company in Chicago yet.
So I'm gonna say Punk wins, but just a shout out to the run Moxley's been on.
And I'm not going to get into the squash stuff anymore because I already talked about that endlessly. But
yeah, it's true. If you go watch the show After the Week, starring Will Washington and Denise Salcedo. Hey, I put my name first this time. You'll see that Denise Salcedo actually, because we pick our best and worst moments of the week, and Denise actually picked this as her best moment of that week. So she's already talked about it, and there's nothing else for her to even go over.
I mean, it was the best moment of the week, wasn't it?
She picked it for worse. She absolutely picked it for worse. Go check out
I watched the episode. I'm of course joking. But it was the moment of the week. I don't know.
All right. Well, my pick here, just because I do want to see the run that we were supposed to have when he initially won the title, and that is CM Punk, because we didn't get to have it. So I want to see it. And that is why my pick is CM Punk. But let's get into these final super chats, guys. I know the show went a lot longer than we expected. We got a super chat here from Nick Campbell, who says, I think it's also hard to get more women on TV when you have the same amount of TV time as Raw, but a bigger roster. Dark and Elevation carry that water. Thank you so much to Nick Campbell for also sending in your thoughts here as well. In terms of this, like, I just feel like even just, if you're going to be putting just make it feel like if you have two titles for the women, the TBS Championship and the AEW Women's World Championship, we should be seeing that. And we should be seeing it with like the proper amount of like respect for the title. That's kind of where I'm at.
My thing is, if you're going to give the women one match a week, I do think that you can do that and still give the women more than two segments or more than one segment a week. If you're not going to give us more than one match, at least spend that time you're not going to give to the match building to a match the next week or on Rampage. And they were doing that for a while. But I do think they could do better of just making the women more visible on Dynamite.
I mean, so like, I agree with that. I think that I don't know how that's done. And I really say that from a time perspective. And that's what I was talking about before, because I saw somebody in the chat say that, just cut some of the stuff you do with the men. But like, I mean, in order to do that, you just have to significantly cut the roster down. We're talking about a roster of like, what is it? I think the roster total has 120 people, and I think 20 of them are women. And like, it's a big disparity between the roster. Essentially, it's one of those, you don't necessarily have the same amount of women that you have men to have the same amount of stuff. That's not going to happen. And so I feel like you still have to be proportionate with time more so than, and that's why I'm thinking it's got to be almost like a quantity over quality type thing, just to get as many women established as you can in a short amount of time. Because otherwise, then you really have to just start trimming the roster altogether. And that's a whole other conversation you can have. But I don't know how you get there. And
exactly.
Like I said, I'm glad I'm not in the position to do so.
All right. Thank you so much to Nick Campbell. And also, Bear Hudson, I'm very sorry to read this to this super chat, but he says his daughter passed away and was a fan of the show. And thank you for this lovely comment, but I'm really sorry about your loss. And I don't know what to say other than I'm sorry. And I know that no words can ever help you replace the loss that you have. So I'm very sorry to Bear Hudson. Truly, I am. And please, if you can comment your Twitter or Instagram, I'd love to send you a personal message and just, just a more of a personal message. But Bear, I'm really sorry about your loss. And then let's see. And then, sorry, guys, I'm going to do a shitty job of like turning it back onto the show. But seriously, now, sorry, I'm doing such a shitty job to go back into like the non-serious, non-light. It's wrestling. It's not going to be compared to live stuff. But back to this. In terms of, CM Punk and Jon Moxley, it's got people talking. It's got people. And that was one of the things that Tony Khan did say. It got people talking. So whether you voted it as best, whether you voted it as worst, it got people talking. That's for sure. Alrighty, everyone. First and foremost, we are done with today's prediction show. I seriously want to thank both Will and Phil for like literally coming on and doing this like almost 2-hour show. Seriously, you guys were awesome. You gave a lot of great feedback, and I really thank you guys so much for coming on. Before we go, please take the floor and plug in anything you'd like to plug in. And Phil, we'll kick it off with you.
Follow me at PhilDL616. It's right there for you. Nice need marketing there for you. Plug. You can follow my writing at Bleacher Report. And, of course, you can watch me on Grapsody every Saturday at noon with this guy above me and Righteous Reginald. Yeah.
Alrighty, and let's go ahead and pull up Will as well. Will, tell the people where they can find you.
Well, you can find me a lot of places because this is I was going to say this. I just looked at the clock and realized that as of this very moment, I have hit 9 straight hours of podcasting. And so there are lots of places you can find me. I am right there at William RBR on Twitter. I host a show called Grapsody, which has this guy right down here, Philip Lindsey. It's got a lot of content. We just interviewed Swerve Strickland. We got an interview going up next that's going up this Saturday. But then also we're doing a live show in 12 hours, a little over 12 hours. Me and Phil and Reg are doing a live episode of Grapsody tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, youtube.com/Fightful. I also host Day After Dynamite on Fightful. I just did that a couple of hours ago, and that is youtube.com/Fightful. Hey, I do a lot of stuff for Fightful. But then I also host Beyond the Bells for Women's Wrestling Army, and you can find that, follow Women's Wrestling Army's YouTube account, and follow us on Twitter and things along those lines. I also, this lady over here, her name's Denise Salcedo, and Sundays I do a show with her on this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo, and we host the show, and it's called After the Week, and it's very fun and funny, and Denise is funny.
I love how you ran down every single thing. That's awesome. Guys, both Phil and Will are kicking butt. Make sure to give them some love, seriously. As for me, you guys know, just subscribe to this channel where you get tons of wrestling content. Please help support it. My goal is to grow this channel, and the only way by doing so is by having you guys subscribe and tune into these videos. And last but not least, follow me on Twitter at _Denise Salcedo. I'm almost at 80K. So if you guys can help me out, I'm almost there. But other than that, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.